What's going on, everybody? Welcome back for another episode of Early Morning PJ Podcast. Unfortunately, this week there are no guests. We had a lot of sports news to cover ourselves, including some of our favorite teams, the Dolphins and the Eagles, especially in free agency this week. So we're going to start by talking some March Madness. Obviously, last night, the Loyola Chicago team that was really a Cinderella story. They unfortunately lost last night to Oregon State.
The Oral Roberts Golden Eagles fell at the hands of Arkansas.
Yeah, you know what? Oral Roberts was a really good team. They shot the lights out all tournament. They played really well to get there, and they had a really good season. There's nothing to really hang their heads on. I haven't
seed getting to the
exactly.
Sweet 16.
I hadn't heard of them since this tournament. And they should have won last night. I mean, they had, a 7-8 point lead at one point in the game, late in the game. And unfortunately, they weren't able to hold on to that. And then they got a really good look for the last shot, and it didn't fall. So they are eliminated as Arkansas will move on to the Elite Eight and play Baylor.
National champion Baylor.
Baylor is a really good team, and they're my favorites. Now that Illinois is eliminated, they're probably my favorites to win it all. I would say that Baylor and Gonzaga are probably going to be in the championship.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then Baylor, I don't know, bro. Baylor's a good team.
Did you see how they played last night, though?
They played.
Came back.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Well,
they still ended up winning by 12.
If they can't,
11.
If they don't have a good shooting performance from deep, I mean, their offense doesn't really get rolling. I mean, yeah, Villanova had some guys that couldn't really handle the ball, like Daniels and Moore. I mean, they were without Gillespie, but Villanova was with them.
I mean, yeah, it was a good game. It was a good game. But
Villanova shouldn't have been with them. I mean,
we'll see. But yeah, so Baylor and Arkansas will face off in the Elite Eight next week. Or no, I think that's tomorrow.
Monday is tomorrow?
Yeah, Elite Eight starts Monday and Tuesday, and the Final Four is next weekend, if I'm right about that. And then you have Oregon State and Houston. Houston last night beating Syracuse by 16. That was a good game for a while. Then Houston just started to shoot the lights out. Quentin Grimes had a really good night.
I don't think Buddy had that good of a game.
Buddy Boeheim did not have that good of a night. He had.
But of course he did against Final Four team West Virginia.
I wouldn't say he didn't have that. He still had 15 points. He still had a decent game, but Houston kind of found the weak spots of their zone. Syracuse hadn't played anybody that can shoot like Houston can. If you know what I'm saying, and they were able to find the weak spots in their zone. They were able to kick the ball out for open threes. And like I said, Quentin Grimes obviously had a really good night. So Houston will be moving on to face Oregon State. Oregon State's a hot team, obviously. They beat Loyola Chicago last night. They beat Oklahoma State last week. They're an interesting team. I mean, I did not see them going this far.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't see Houston really having... I think Oregon State's kind of like Syracuse.
Yeah, I mean, I think I picked Oregon State to lose first round or second round.
I think Oregon State's a similar team to Syracuse, and I think obviously Houston was able to take care of Syracuse last night. I don't think Houston's going to have any problem taking care of them tomorrow.
I think Loyola Chicago should have won that game. I mean,
they had
close.
Krutwig was carrying.
They had
for a
so
while.
many opportunities.
Yeah, they did have a lot of opportunities.
3 minutes to go at the end of the game. It was hard to watch.
They did have a lot of opportunities to pull with it, even take the lead at one point, I think. So, they unfortunately lost. I don't know.
I mean, is Loyola Chicago even an underdog at this point? I don't know. They've done damage in the tournament so many times.
They're just not respected because, and it's the same thing with Houston. Everybody wants to overlook Houston because they play in the American Conference or whatever that's called, and it's not a good conference. But they are really good. They are a good team, and they are probably one of, if not the best 3-point shooting teams in the tournament this year.
Yeah, but they've been hitting their shots the whole tournament, but once that stops,
Yeah, they play through the 3-ball, but they also, they just have a really good personnel. I think they have 2 big guys underneath, number 55, I don't know his name, but
Grimes is pretty good.
Quentin Grimes, yeah, that's who I was discussing a couple minutes ago. They're just a good team. They're a good put-together team. They shoot well. They offensive rebounding, that's like what they do. They're really good at offensive rebounding.
Yeah, offensive rebounding combined with shooting.
That'll be interesting to watch.
It didn't
those
help
2 games.
because Syracuse ran a zone 2-3 or 3-2.
Yeah, they were able to find weak spots in the zone, but Syracuse's zone has been.
West Virginia refused to put anyone in the middle.
I mean, when you run a zone, you're giving up opportunities for them to get offensive rebounds. That's what happened.
So today there's obviously some more games. The first game on deck would be Gonzaga and Creighton. I think Gonzaga is gonna pretty much roll through that game.
I would
but if
think
you
so.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
If you think about it, Gonzaga hasn't really seen anybody yet in the tournament, and obviously that's gonna happen as a 1 seed. But there's been some upsets on that side of the bracket that have led to them playing down, not very good competition.
It's not like Creighton. I wouldn't say they're elite. Obviously, being in the Sweet 16, they're a pretty good team. But, I wouldn't call Creighton like a powerhouse.
Yeah, exactly. I don't see them beating Gonzaga today.
I don't know.
However,
could happen.
USC and Oregon, that game.
That's gonna be a good game.
Whoever wins that game is going to go play Gonzaga in the Elite Eight, and that.
I think
the game today, USC and Oregon, is going to be a very good game, and then. I'm gonna be honest with you. USC has beaten Oregon, I think once, if not twice, this year because they play in the same conference.
Yeah, Pac-12.
But with that being said, Oregon looked really, really good against Iowa.
I think between Oregon, USC, and Creighton, I think the game between USC and Oregon, I think whoever wins that game has the best chance to beat Gonzaga out of those 2 teams.
I'm going to say Oregon wins today. And they play Gonzaga, and who knows? Maybe that's an upset there between Oregon and Gonzaga. But either way, USC's a good team. I've watched them play a couple times. They're a good team, and Oregon's a good team. So that will probably be the first.
That'll be a good game.
Really, real contest for Gonzaga. Next in the Elite Eight, if they're able to get past Creighton today. Also today is Michigan and Florida State. That's going to be a really good game. Florida State's a physical team.
I picked Florida State to win that.
Yeah,
I had that in my bracket.
I would not be surprised if Florida State comes out with that win.
No, that'll be a good game.
That's going to be Florida State's a physical team. They can shoot. Michigan, they're
really solid all around.
Yeah. So that's going to be a good game. And then UCLA and Alabama. That is going to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, UCLA's been hot.
UCLA has been hot. They have a couple good 3-point shooters.
But when Bama's making their shots, oh man, they're making them.
So, I don't know. I don't know what to expect for that game. I just expect it to be a good one. I think I have Alabama coming out of that game, as do many people, considering UCLA's an 11 seed.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really mean anything in March.
No, it doesn't.
So, yeah, so those are the games today. And then, like we said, tomorrow is starting the Elite Eight, Baylor, Arkansas, and Oregon State versus Houston. And then Tuesday will be the winners of today's games. So, yeah, my favorite, I know I've spoken on this already today, but my favorite would be Baylor. At this point in the tournament.
That's who I've had the whole time. So they're still my favorite.
I still got the Zags.
Honestly, it could really be. I think Houston could honestly make a run for it.
Oh yeah, I do too. And my prediction is going to be that Houston sees Baylor in the Final Four.
Yeah.
So, you're going to see some really good games in these next couple of days. Like I said,
as you should.
Yeah. Exactly. This is the Elite Eight. This is really when the Sweet 16 really starts it. Sweet 16 is like where you get some really good games, and obviously as you progress from there, you're going to see even better games. But if Baylor were to able to match up versus Houston in the Final Four, that would be...
It'd be a really good game.
Yeah, because Baylor is a physical team.
Defensive team.
They can shoot a little bit, but their defense really carries them. And Houston...
you could tell. I mean...
Houston plays good defense. Houston's a good team all around.
Yeah.
Houston played really good defense last night. They shot really, really well. And they're like offensive rebound. They're good at rebounding. Like they're good in all phases of the game. And I don't think Baylor has seen anybody quite like that this year.
I mean, after watching the Nova game, you could tell how fired up and intense Baylor's defense was. I mean, they were really getting on to Nova's two guards. I mean, you could tell they weren't too confident. I mean, they didn't have Gillespie, but they had
really
like 5 turnovers in a row.
It really depends on like where you're like struggling and where you're not. I mean, if Baylor was shooting the lights out last night, I mean,
and they weren't really.
Exactly, they weren't. So they
scoring in the paint.
They knew that because they weren't shooting well, they had to pick it up on the defensive side of the ball, and they had to get the ball in the paint. Like they had to play more physical game last night rather than just fancy threes and things like that. They had to get more physical, and they had to,
I think Villanova was like one of the worst defenses on the perimeter in the whole of NCAA.
Yeah. So Villanova made a run. I did not think they were going to make it out of.
I didn't think so either.
But you had Purdue losing in the first round, and that's who Villanova would have seen.
Some people predicted that one, but
I didn't. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think I had
North Texas was a good team.
I had Purdue beating North Texas in the first round. Purdue goes on to play Villanova and beats Villanova. But that ended up not happening. Obviously, North Texas upset Purdue. North Texas went on to play Villanova, and Villanova welcomed them to the tournament. So, unfortunately, their season is over, Villanova's. I really like Jay Wright. I really have a lot of respect for him.
Yeah, he's a classy guy.
And I'm not a Villanova guy. I'm not a Villanova fan, but I think Jay Wright deserves to stay in Villanova for the rest of his coaching career.
Oh yeah,
if he chooses.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not going.
He's not.
He had the opportunity. I think it was either last year or the year before to head to the NBA, and he couldn't.
Yeah, I think it was this year because they were talking about the Sixers getting him.
Oh yeah, then must have been this year.
So and I don't think he would ever pass up an opportunity to come back to Villanova, whether they're going to be bad or not. I mean, I think he's always going to be.
They always have a solid team.
They do. He's really good. Obviously, recruiting. I mean, that's their thing. He's brought.
And they get guys who are dedicated to his system instead of like one and done type of guys.
And that's the thing. Like, at Villanova, they develop you over 4 years.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're not one and done like Kentucky or Duke
or
you
go look
Kansas.
At Javon, the guy from Alabama, Quinterly. Like, he came Villanova, didn't play too much his freshman year. I think he was redshirted, didn't play too much, and he won it out. I mean, I don't think he was really ready.
He's doing fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but he just wasn't the right fit for Jay Wright's type of system.
I mean, and we're watching some SportsCenter right now, and they have Juan Soto on the TV screen, which kind of gets you excited for baseball season, which starts this week. Thursday is opening day.
All I gotta say is I've seen Bleacher Report notifications on my phone, and I don't think the Marlins have lost for 2 weeks playing spring training. So we're gonna make a run this year. I mean, we won a playoff series last year, and everyone seems to think we're gonna be bad this year, but that's all right.
Spring training.
Miami sports thrives on being.
That's
underrated.
at the Senators.
Yeah, it is. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, they just showed a clip of him playing for the Harrisburg Senators. But obviously, like I said, the opening day is Thursday this week. The Phillies open up with the Braves. Obviously, that's a tough series right off the bat. But I'm excited for the season. Coming from a Phillies fan and a Marlins fan, they had a deep playoff run last year.
Yes, sir.
The Phillies, unfortunately, did not make the playoffs, but they finished 500 the last 2 seasons. So I think this year is the year that we get over the hump. We're able to get into the playoffs. We'll see what happens after that. We're probably going to end up with a wild card, considering who's in our division. The Mets have a really good team this year. Braves are always good. So I would expect one of those 2 teams to be at the top of the division, and then
Nationals.
We're going to finish better than the Nationals, I think.
Think?
Oh, yeah. I think our pitching staff's better. Well, maybe not. I don't know.
I mean,
because Strasburg's coming off an injury. Scherzer, obviously, he's one of the best in the game, but sometimes he gets hurt.
yeah, think about our rotation. What, Nola?
Wheeler. I mean, those 2 guys are deadly. And then you go into, I don't know, Velasquez might start.
Is he starting now?
I don't know. I think they need to keep him in the bullpen because he's probably our best bullpen pitcher if he were to stay in the bullpen.
I mean, I'm trying to think who we got out in free agency.
Like Zach Eflin. We got Archie Bradley.
Archie Bradley.
The reliever. We got some bullpen help, and that's what we need.
We'll see.
We signed JT, which took up all of our cap space, but
and we got Didi back.
That was a need. Yeah, Didi's back on I think 2-year deal. So I'm excited for the season. I think last year we had a good team, and I think this year we have an even better team, and it's going to depend on our bullpen. Last year we lost a lot of 1-run games in which the bullpen blew. So it's going to depend a lot on our bullpen. I think we'll be fine offensively, just like we were last year. I think we're going to hit well.
Rhys Hoskins really needs to step it up.
Hoskins hit well last year. He hit over 250, I think. So, I mean, he hit well. This is going to be a bold take, but I'm going to say Harper ends up hitting over 275, 280. I can see him in the 285, 290, maybe even 300 range. That's a bold take considering, the kind of hitter he is. He crushes baseballs, but at the same time, he has a lot of strikeouts.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the season. Realmuto, obviously, is the best catcher in the game, in my opinion. And I know I'm not alone in that, take. But at the same time, he is one of the best hitting catchers in the MLB.
Someone, a catcher like you can look up to.
Yeah, exactly.
I
do watch a lot of film on him. I do. As a catcher myself, I watch a lot of receiving drills, blocking drills, even his approach at the plate. I like to take a look at that. So, I mean, who wouldn't want to learn from the best, especially when he's playing for your favorite team?
You still think Baum is legit? Boom.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think last year obviously was his rookie season. It was a modified season with 60 games, and he only played 30 of them because he got called up.
Well too.
Yeah, he got called up about halfway through the season, and so I would say he only played 30, 40 games maybe. And I think this year, I mean, he's gonna come out better than he was last year. He has a really good glove at third base. He plays a really good hot corner, and he can hit. And I think he's going to be a good, 5-6 hitter for us.
We still have.
There's a fight for the center field spot right now between Odubel Herrera, Adam Hazley.
I forgot he's coming back.
I don't know, man. It depends. Kingery, Hazley, or Herrera is going to win that job. Kingery has not been good at all in spring training.
Yeah, he kind of fell off.
Kingery has not been good.
McCutcheon's still on the team, right?
He plays left.
Oh yeah.
And then Harper.
Andrew McCutcheon?
Yeah. So yeah, I have a lot of friends that are Mets fans.
Roman Quinn.
I
like him.
I do too, and I think he's kind of in the mix there. He can play anywhere really in the outfield. So I think he's kind of obviously in the mix. He'll probably be. Maybe he's even in contention for the center field spot. I mean, it's between Hazley, Kingery, Herrera, and him, Quinn. So like I said, I have a lot of Mets fans that ask me, how well do I think the Mets are going to do? Obviously, the Mets have a pretty good pitching staff with Stroman, Syndergaard, DeGrom. But at the same time, they can never hit well. They have Pete Alonso, who did not hit last year at all, really. He batted around the Mendoza line, which is 200. Lindor, obviously, is with the Mets on a huge deal. That was probably like the move of the offseason, really. And that was, you know what? That kind of scares me as a Phillies fan a little bit because of the player that Lindor is. But at the same time, it's not like he's going to be... He's a shortstop in the field. He's your typical MLB shortstop. He makes good plays, has a good range, makes the easy plays. But the thing that separates him from the rest of the shortstops in the MLB is his bat. He can really hit the ball. I think he's going to be a really good leadoff guy for them. I think he's going to bat leadoff for him. I think they got rid of Wilson Ramos, who's their catcher. So I do not know who their catcher is now, and I don't know Michael Conforto. I think they got rid of him too, and he's a solid player. He's a solid right fielder for him. He's been a solid right fielder for him, but I think they got rid of him. So the Mets they have depth. They have depth pitching wise, which is the biggest.
Yeah, you need that.
Yeah, the biggest thing you could possibly have in baseball is pitching. So they have a lot of depth there. They have a pretty good bullpen. So I'm interested to see how the NL East plays out this year. I think between the Phillies, Mets, Braves, Nationals, those 4 teams are probably going to finish at the top. Marlins, no offense, probably last.
Nah.
Now with I gotta ask, how'd the game go this weekend? Trinity baseball.
Yeah, it went well. We I gotta give my hats off to the team we played, High Point Baptist Academy. I really have not heard of them.
Where are they from?
They're out towards Reading. But it was a good game. We scored 9 runs in the first inning thanks to a couple home runs. Patrick Giordano had a home run. JT Cap had a home run in the first inning. So we had a couple first inning home runs. Patrick's home run actually scored me on the play. So,
hey.
Patrick's home run was a 3-run home run. Josh McCombs had a really good day at the plate. McCombs had a home run. He had 3 hits. He almost hit for the cycle. Josh McCombs. He had a home run, a triple, a single, and all he was missing was a double. But unfortunately, he did not get that. But Micah New hit a bomb. Obviously, Micah was on the show last week with us. But it was a short porch out in left and right field. It was probably it said 300 on the fence, but it was like a portable fence. It could be moved.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume that the fence was probably like 290, 295. But Micah's was a shot. I think Micah's might have been out at our field, which is like 325, 330 into the gap. Micah hit it. There was a scoreboard behind the fence, probably about 20 feet behind the fence. And he hit it over the scoreboard. So it was a bomb. But
So it was a mercy rule?
No, we didn't. We scored 9 in the first inning. They came back a little bit in the first. They scored 4 or 5 in the first inning.
Who's pitching?
Landon Kunzelman came in. He gave us some good. He gave us some good outs. Ethan Peffer and Ryan Ness pitched really, really well. Those are the 2 guys. We pitched Landon, Ethan, and Ryan. And Ethan Peffer and Ryan Ness, those 2 both gave us some really strong innings. So ultimately, we won 13-8. We won by 5. It should have been over. We ended up playing a full 7-inning game, but it should have been over in the first 4 or 5 innings. But all around, I was happy with the performance. We hit really well. We have a really good lineup this year, up and down. Isaac Souders, who hits...
Sounders, yeah.
He hits 8th for us, and he had a multiple hit game. So, like I said, we're really strong up and down the lineup this year.
Who do you guys have coming up this week?
Don't you have the Hill this
week?
week?
We got Camp Hill this week. It'll be an interesting game.
What day is that?
Wednesday at Camp Hill.
Alright, yeah, you heard it here.
Yeah, you guys got to be there. 4:30 start, I believe, so...
I got track.
You should definitely...
I'll be there.
Come after track. We'll still be playing.
I will.
But Camp Hill, they're a good team. They always have been for at least my career at Trinity. Jack Thompson is their catcher. He's a really good player for them. Virginia Tech commit. I've actually gotten the chance to play with him over the last couple of years through travel ball. Really good player, really good all-around hitter. They have a couple good pitchers that they use, young guys. So I'm interested to see how they really are. They lost a couple seniors over the last 2 years because we didn't have a season last year. So I'm interested to see how they are. I'm interested to see if we're able to keep our offensive highs going. We're really hitting well right now we've been hitting really well. So I'm interested to see if we can keep that going, and hopefully we can. But yeah, some more. Should we get into some Trinity news?
Well, let's get into some UFC news real quick.
All right.
A little commercial break. Last night, if you didn't know, was UFC 260. Main card was featuring Francis Ngannou versus Stipe Miocic, which was the heavyweight championship, and Ngannou knocked him out in the second round, which I personally wasn't expecting. I thought Stipe would have lasted and won by decision or something like that. And there's a new heavyweight champion in the UFC. And the other fights were all right. Tyron Woodley lost and Sean O'Malley won. Those are really the other big names in there. But yeah, new heavyweight champion in the UFC.
Yes, sir. All right, so thank you, Jacob, for that UFC input. I just want to give a
Thanks
quick...
for the baseball input.
Yeah, just want to give a quick shout out to the Trinity lacrosse team. They're 2-0.
Yeah.
They started off 2-0. Obviously all three of us have some really good friends that play for them. I think Friday night they beat Hershey 10-8. The scores in that game were Paul Shook, Drew Godfrey, Mike Coleman, and Croy Teeter. So just want to give a shout out to those four guys for getting the win on Friday. And then last night they ended up beating
Shadyside.
Shadyside.
Really good.
Yeah, they're a really good team.
Really good team.
So Trinity beat them last night 12-11.
12-11, yeah.
And shout out to Evan Scott.
Evan Scott with the hat trick, baby.
The hat trick.
Yeah, he had 3.
Yeah, so shout out to those guys. Obviously, spring sports are starting. Baseball and lacrosse, girls lacrosse, boys lacrosse.
First track meet Tuesday.
First track meet Tuesday. So just quick shout out to all the spring athletes. Good luck with your seasons. And yeah, it should be a successful. We should all have successful seasons. I think from what I've been able to hear, around the school, lacrosse should be good. Baseball should be good. Track, you guys have some
athletes.
Yeah, some really good athletes at Trinity. So
myself included.
Yeah, Jacob.
Maybe not, but
Tyler Rossi, obviously. Connor Pushart. Pushhart's obviously one of our callers, our weekly callers.
Yeah.
He's like one of
very good distance.
Is he like the fastest guy?
Him and Jasper.
Jasper Bird.
Jack Warner. Probably
Jack Warner, my cousin.
Not like for too long, but he pulled his hammy, I think.
Yeah, Tyler Rossi, obviously. Does Matt Schlager
runs?
Noder runs too.
Ethan Noder. And then I don't know if you guys have been able to follow the Trinity student section, but I think their rugby season has started as well.
Yeah,
West Shore United.
West Shore, yeah.
So shout out to Tommy Cloak. Ethan plays.
Yeah, he had a concussion.
Yeah, Noder and
Schlager, obviously. But Tommy obviously committed to go play at the Mount St. Mary's rugby team.
D1.
So congrats to all these athletes. Good luck on their seasons.
Closing out our kind of Trinity news and shout out to spring sport athletes. Our very own Peyton Warner committed to Mount Aloysius for baseball just this past week. So
Yeah,
congratulations, Peyton.
Thank you.
congrats.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm excited. They have a really good coaching staff out there, some really nice facilities. So I'm excited to get out there and get started this fall. So thank you guys. If you haven't heard about Anchor yet, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free and there's no charge. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more music apps.
You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you'll ever need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started on your podcast today.
So, we're going to be getting into some NBA talk now. Obviously, with the trade deadline hitting this past week, there was a lot of moves made. I think I read that like 16 teams were involved in moves. There was like 40-some players involved.
Every person named Gary was traded.
Yeah, so let's get started. Obviously, the Heat acquired Victor Oladipo. That was probably one of the biggest moves.
At first, when I saw the news, I was flipping out because I thought we were going to give up someone like Hero or Kendrick Nunn or Duncan Robinson for him, but we ended up giving what basically equates to peanuts or something from the dollar store for him. I mean, Avery Bradley, Kelly Olynyk, and a pick swap for I think 2022. That's a pretty good bargain for a two-time All-Star. He's not in his prime, but he'll give us 16 points a game.
He has the potential to be in his prime. He's just not in a good
his injury too. But
I would be faking injuries if I played for the Houston Rockets.
he'll be a good third option for us, and we get him for basically nothing.
Yeah, and that was a really good acquisition. The Heat obviously have kind of moved themselves into an Eastern Conference contender now with Butler being able to pair with Oladipo, Bam Adebayo. Obviously, he's already having a really good year. So Tyler Hero, the team that made the finals last year is kind of just getting better. So
yeah.
I'm excited to see how the Heat play out. Obviously, the Sixers
5-game losing streak, or it might be up to 6 now, but I mean, we'll bounce back.
After you came on last week and we're
saying Dragic's been out, Butler's been out a little. I mean, we haven't had Oladipo. We'll be fine.
The Sixers, my team, and Jason's team made a move to acquire George Hill. Unfortunately, we were unable to keep Tony Bradley in the deal. Tony Bradley's probably one of my favorite young players the Sixers have because of just his overall ability to come off the bench and score and rebound. Do his job, really. That's all, especially with Embiid out right now. Tony Bradley was actually starting with Embiid out, and Dwight Howard would come off the bench. But Tony Bradley's a good player, and I think it was a 3-team trade between the Knicks.
We got someone else, too.
The Knicks, the Thunder, and we got Iggy something from the Knicks, but he doesn't play. But I'll have to ask Paul Shook about him. But
I don't really know, because, Shake he wasn't doing too bad in the second group.
Who? Shake Milton?
Yeah, that's who basically Hill's going to be playing.
They won't take minutes away from Shake. I think he'll come off the bench for Danny Green.
Danny Green?
Yeah. Bro, Danny Green and him are the identical same player.
George Hill and Danny
Green. Except George Hill can actually shoot.
Danny Green has been shooting really well these past couple of games.
I feel like George Hill handles the ball better than Danny Green.
They were talking about trading Danny Green, and then ever since that, it was probably Wednesday. It was a day before the trade deadline. They were trying to get rid of him, and then ever since then he's just been going off.
Yeah, no, that's
what I would have traded.
All our players Duncan Robinson and Hero and Nunn weren't shooting well right before the trade deadline when all those rumors were going on, and I watched them. We didn't win, but again because McCollum dropped. Oh Lord, 40 points.
Yeah, Norman Powell, baby.
But
that was a big. We'll talk about that too.
They were shooting well after the trade deadline was over, and they knew their, role on the team was secured. So
obviously I mentioned Norman Powell. Norman Powell was moved to the Portland Trail Blazers in exchange for Gary Trent Jr., Rodney Hood, and I think there were some picks involved as well.
What? Why?
But I don't know. And I don't even know who won
Rodney.
that trade.
I don't like that for the Blazers. Rodney
Yeah,
Hood's,
not at all. Like,
Rodney
Gary
Hood's,
Trent's a good player.
Rodney Hood's always been good in the playoffs for them. Like he's come alive in the playoffs every
somehow
year.
just like he's just
Yeah,
solid
he
in the
doesn't do
playoffs.
anything during the regular season, but he does.
But Gary Trent is also a good player, man. He's a good bench player to come, handle the ball.
And then they throw picks in
I think there were some picks involved. But
Norman Powell.
I mean,
or
Powell's
like
good.
the other way around, like the Raptors could have given them some picks.
I don't know.
It was a pretty even trade. Norman Powell's not a bad player.
Norman Powell's good.
He's a good vet that can still shoot. I mean, he's not a bad player at all. And I'm interested to see, how down the stretch that plays out. Obviously, there were some more moves made.
Fournier.
Yeah,
He's currently in COVID protocols and is not eligible to play for the.
Yeah, so I don't. Obviously,
Celtics.
Lonzo. Yeah, he was moved to the Celtics, but I forget who it was.
It was like a second round pick. Oh,
Nikola
Vucevic
to the Bulls. Yeah,
that was a great move.
Bulls made some more.
I wanted Vucevic on the Heat next to Bam.
Yeah,
but
so
that didn't happen.
Bulls got Vucevic, Al-Farouq Amino, they exchanged Wendell Carter, Otto Porter, and 2 first-rounders.
That's
Otto Porter is so bad.
I mean,
He used to be decent on the Wizards, and they just fell off.
There was another. Oh, they got Mo Wagner.
The Bulls did, I think. Right?
Yeah, they did. That's what I'm saying.
No, I mean I like that move a lot for the Bulls getting Vucevic. He's he's probably the most underrated player in the NBA if we're being honest. He was an all-star this year and people don't seem to realize that that's the level he's on. He's one of the best post-scoring bigs. He can pass pretty well. He can shoot from mid-range. He's really good rebounder and he's solid on defense.
Oh, they got Daniel Tice.
Oh.
So time out. Mo Wagner must have been a part of that deal for.
It was. So, what the Wizards did, they got Daniel Gafford and Chandler Hutchinson from Chicago in a 3-way trade that sent Troy Brown Jr. to Chicago and Mo Wagner to Boston.
Yeah, for Daniel Tice.
The Celtics acquired Luke Cornett from Chicago in exchange for Daniel Tice and Javonte Green.
Yeah. So, Daniel Tice is... I hate him because...
Yeah, I don't like that guy.
I don't like him either, but he's not bad.
No,
Like,
he's
a
underrated.
solid big man.
He was a starter for Boston. So,
He does everything. He's like Dwight Howard in the fact that he does everything you need him to do.
Probably
He's not
not.
flashy, but
Dwight Howard needs...
He got Trevor Ariza
yeah. I don't really know how
for
all
a draft consideration.
I don't really know how all these
In
players are
London.
going to fit into our Nemanja Bjelica.
Yeah.
How-
Trevor
how
Ariza is
players
probably
like
like
that.
an upgrade from Olynyk.
Yeah, he probably. Olynyk was actually playing all right. Like he was 12 points a game. I don't know who's going to start at the 4 for us. Probably Ariza, or slide Jimmy down and throw Kendrick Nunn into the starting lineup.
Oh my.
Then the Bucks got PJ Tucker and
That's
Yeah.
young,
Adonis
right?
Kirkus from Houston for DJ Augustine, which I didn't know he was still in the league.
I didn't know he was still in the I remember his time with the
I
Magic.
swear, he's been on every single NBA team. And DJ Wilson for their own 2022 first round draft
Tucker's
pick.
going to be good with them. He's a supporting player. He can hit one of the best corner shooting 3-point shooters, and he's good on defense, obviously.
Yeah, so Quinn Cook got released. Marcus Aldridge got waived. Myers Leonard
Signed
got
with the
waived.
Nets.
Jabari Parker got waived.
Oh man,
Georgie Dang got waived, and Jeff Teague got waived.
Jeff Teague.
he got waived.
Yeah, but he got moved. He was with Boston.
He was waived from the Magic.
Yeah, so how did that happen? Oh, he must have been part of that Fournier trade.
Yeah, pretty sure.
So yeah,
I
that
can't
was...
believe the Nets got Aldridge.
Bro, why is everybody hyping that up? He's a
Aldridge,
bum.
no,
He's washed
He's
up.
averaging like 15
He's
points.
washed
Not really
up. He's washed.
He's
He's
not
washed.
washed.
He's washed. DeAndre Jordan's gonna start over him.
Okay.
I mean, he's still not a bad player to have to come off the bench.
He's just not gonna play a lot. Everybody makes a
He'll
big
play
deal about the Nets
He'll
getting
play
all these
15
guys.
to 20 minutes a game.
They're not good. They're just not Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge are washed.
Yeah, they're not in their prime.
They almost
good
lost to the Pistons last night.
It's one game.
They won by 2. Bro, if you I don't know.
It's one game.
They're obviously a good team. They're obviously a favorite.
None of this matters. The regular season does not matter at all, whatsoever.
I mean, I'm not saying it. I mean, it gives you an impression of how good a team really is. All right,
No,
so to wrap up
I disagree with that.
how? How do you
The
disagree
5
with
seed
that?
went to the finals last year and beat the 1 seed, the best team in the league, the Bucks, who had the best record in the league.
The Bucks were supposed to be a good team. The Bucks were a lot of people's favorites to go to the finals.
The regular season in the NBA doesn't mean anything to me, ever.
I mean, if you get into the playoffs...
There's normally 82 games, and I'm not going to overreact to 1 out of 82 games.
You can say that all you
players
You
are
can
being
say that all you want
shuffled.
until the Heat end up playing...
Players are shuffled in and out of the lineup.
First round. So that, obviously, I just want to say one more thing. Kyle Lowry, obviously staying in Toronto, that was, he was one of the biggest names that were thrown out there to get traded. And same with Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball is staying in New Orleans. So,
Yeah.
those were 2 of the biggest names that were kind of thrown around a lot.
Yeah, there was a lot of trade. I mean, the Heat and the Lakers were rumored to be trading for Kyle Lowry. I just think the price wasn't right for him, and they're going to stick it out with him.
All right, so now we're going to get into some NFL talk. Obviously, this is coming from an Eagles fan,
a Dolphins fan. Let's go.
I'm so disappointed in this franchise.
Jalen Waddle territory.
If you haven't seen the Eagles and the Dolphins did it originally.
It was basically a 3-team trade
Yeah.
between the Niners, the Eagles, and the
So
Dolphins.
the Dolphins acquired they traded back originally.
Yeah,
to
from
the
3 to
6th pick,
12
or
with
the
the
12th
Niners.
pick, yeah. So with the Niners, the Dolphins traded.
We got their 12th pick. We got a 3rd rounder for next year. We got their first for 2022 and their first for 2023.
So that was the original trade. And then Howie Roseman said, "I want to get involved in this."
Well, Howie Roseman was involved to start. Rumor was the Eagles wanted
they
to
were
trade
trying
for
to
the
get
3rd
3
pick,
They wanted
to get Wilson,
which translates to you're not confident in Hurts.
I genuinely
essentially.
don't
it's
understand.
like QB factory.
This doesn't make any sense to me because a few weeks ago, Jeffrey Lurie came out
They
and
always
said,
say that. The
No,
Niners
Jeffrey
said they're
Lurie's
not
the-
trading.
Jeffrey Lurie is the owner, right? Jeffrey Lurie came out and said, "Look, we planned this draft to build around Hurts and the offseason."
Now you're building around.
He
Hurts.
said, "We planned this offseason to build around Jalen Hurts." And that meant that Jalen Hurts is your QB1. And then you go out and sign the perfect backup. There's not a better backup that you could bring in than Joe Flacco. And that is literally, you're saying to the fans, you're saying to Hurts himself, you're the guy.
Yeah.
And to go out there and just go, turn your back in the, literally, 10 minutes of a pro day. However long Zach Wilson's pro day was. That's how long it took Howie Roseman to turn his back on Jalen Hurts. And I don't know. I just don't understand. Obviously, if you guys haven't heard, Jacob just spoke on it. The Eagles were originally trying to trade up
to the Dolphins pick.
Yeah, to the 3rd pick to draft Zach Wilson, which makes 0 sense to me, considering how much more you could get with that pick. You could get offensive line help with Penei Sewell. That's a lock to get either Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith. Either would help a lot in our offense.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trading up to the 3rd pick from 6, you're not taking anything but quarterback. You don't trade up.
It's just so frustrating, and I don't.
I mean, now at 12, who do you think we're going to take?
Waddle.
It's not even.
Waddle.
If he's there. If he's there.
This is why I could be completely wrong about this. All right, so we didn't even. Then after that Dolphins trade, the Eagles got involved. And the Eagles traded for that pick.
Yeah, we gave you guys the 12th pick, and we gave you the Dolphins, not the Niners, 2022 first-round pick, and a 4th-round pick, I believe.
And with that pick, I'm going to say we draft Waddle.
If he's there, if he is there.
I think we did it for one reason only. Howie Roseman didn't want to make a decision between Ja'Marr Chase and DeVonta Smith.
I just think
he just didn't, and that's why he didn't.
There's a lot of value for you guys at 12.
No, I'm not even gonna say like it was between those two guys because you have no idea what Howie Roseman what he was thinking.
Some people think Waddle's the best receiver.
A lot of people do. And
yeah, that's a valid opinion.
It depends. I mean, how well is he gonna come back from this injury?
Between Waddle, Smith, and Chase, you're getting a stud receiver.
Yeah, it's prime Jalen Waddle territory, and I mean you could.
Rumor is the Giants are in for him at 11, but I don't know.
No, because they got Golladay now.
Still, that's still.
I don't
buy it. I don't buy it, but that is.
They have they already had a good receiving core, not a decent receiving. Bro, like, I don't know, Sterling Shepard,
Slayton, John Ross,
Golden Tate.
Well, Tate's not there anymore.
Well, I mean last year.
Yeah.
That wasn't a bad receiving core.
No, not at all.
I just don't have faith in Daniel Jones.
Yeah, no, that's the thing.
And I mean, you could get, like I said, you could get all the targets you want in the world. First of all, their offensive line sucked last year, and you're not helping your quarterback. You're not going to give him any time to throw to Kenny Golladay or Jalen Waddle if you don't buy time for him to do that. And
I think Daniel Jones is overhated as a quarterback. That's my opinion.
I don't hate him.
Statistically, he was a top 10 thrower on the deep ball last year, and with Golladay, I think that's only going to improve, and that's a good fit.
And those guys are fast. Like Slayton and Shepard are fast.
Yeah. John Ross.
Then you combine those two guys with
the vertical
Golladay, and it was a 50-50 ball receiver. And I mean, they should have a good offense this year if Saquon's able to come back. Half as what he was.
Bolster up the offensive line a little bit, and Saquon's back. I think the Giants could be my favorite in the NFC East.
They could be, and I mean, about halfway through the season last year, they were a lot of people's favorite to win. So they were in it till the end, literally the very end. They lost.
Yeah.
They would have won the division had the Eagles beat Washington. So, that was
the big trade news.
That was like the big trade news, and
that means DeVonta Smith, Ja'Marr Chase to Miami probably. I like that. At 6, I didn't like it at 3, but I think that's good value at 6. So.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how this plays out because now you got the 49ers who have the 3
mock draft coming soon.
What are the 49ers going to do with the 3 pick?
Wilson,
take a quarterback?
Fields, Lance.
They'll probably take Wilson.
They could take they're not good. They have no receivers now.
You don't think it's going to be Fields?
I mean, it's going to I don't know.
Lawrence,
between Fields,
Wilson. He thinks that Wilson's going to be a 4.
Between Wilson, Fields, and Lance, I mean, they're all really, really close. And it's really who fits your scheme the most, who tests the best, like interviews and headspace stuff that like we can't know, and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if any of those 3 went at 2 or 3.
Well, it's gonna be Lawrence.
Lawrence is a lot.
And then
Fields, Wilson, and Lance.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Eagles take Micah Parsons.
No way. He's not even gonna make it out of the top 10.
I think currently in my mock draft I have him going 9 to the Broncos.
He's not going to make it out of the top 10.
He's actually, not that these are true, but there are allegations of character concerns with him, like stuff from Penn State and.
Did you just see him run a 4.3?
Yeah, no, 4.3. Yeah, that's. I mean, you take the good with the bad, but.
I mean, what linebacker is running other than like?
Devin
I was just gonna say that.
Devin White ran a 4.4.
Bro, I was just gonna say that. Like, Devin White is like the fastest linebacker in the league right now, and he runs a 4.4.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
The issue with Parsons too is where do you put him? Because he could play. He's not very good in coverage like at all, and linebackers that can't cover get torched.
Well,
he can rush the passer, but he's not good enough rushing the passer to do it every play. He's an elite run stopper, so it's like a weird fit.
In college and in the NFL, it's different because there's different like personnel for each play and packages and stuff.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, he could be like a run-stopping linebacker.
3-4 inside.
Yeah, you bring him in on 1st and 2nd down. Like, that's what they're going to do.
The thing with Parsons is he's so fast and so strong, he just makes plays in the run game that other linebackers can't. It's just, his ceiling is so high. And I'll be interested to see where he goes coming from Harrisburg.
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't see him making it out of the top 10, so I don't think the Eagles have any chance.
Some people think Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah out of Notre Dame is the best linebacker.
Okay, I'm going to be completely honest with you here. I don't necessarily not see the Eagles, like, they could possibly trade that pick away. Up. Or a player. Or a player.
Trade back up?
Or trade back.
I think you guys are sitting pretty at 12.
We wanted Ja'Marr Chase.
If Waddle's there, you take him. If he's not, there's a lot of good corners.
Ja'Marr Chase is probably better than Jalen Waddle, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Certainly, he's my number one receiver.
But I don't know. Devontae Smith is like, he's up there, bro. Devontae Smith, I think, is better. The best.
I mean, that's a valid opinion, but I mean, I respectfully disagree with that.
We would be saying the same thing about Jalen Waddle.
Chase has always been my number one, and that's not going to change.
If Waddle didn't break his ankle, we'd be sitting here saying that he was like a top 5 pick. So
no, I wouldn't say
a top 6. Definitely a top 6.
Chase still would have been above him for me.
No way, bro.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle was like the best athlete in college football.
Ja'Marr Chase was the number one receiver at LSU over Justin Jefferson, over other guys.
Everybody
at 19 years,
you know that Justin Jefferson wasn't
his first round pick.
He was a first round pick because he was
that the Eagles posted.
Yeah, he was good. But
Ja'Marr Chase at 19 years old was the Biletnikoff winner for best receiver in the nation and put up close to what Smith.
Justin Jefferson wouldn't be like you think he's so good because he beat Randy Moss's record in receptions, but if he goes to
1,300 yards,
if he goes to the Eagles, there's absolutely no way he would have had a successful season considering
your quarterback situation.
Yeah,
but it's not like Kirk Cousins was elevating his play. Kirk Cousins is a solid quarterback, but he doesn't.
And he would have been the one receiver in Philly. Like Justin Jefferson was.
I think
no. Thielen was the receiver, bro. Bro, you can say no, but the teams they were playing were putting their best corner on Thielen, and I mean, when you think of it that way, that would make Justin Jefferson a wide receiver 2 type of player. So
1A, 1B.
So that wraps up this week's episode of Early Morning PJ Podcast. I just want to give a quick shout out to Colin Morrow as he is in first place in our bracket challenge. So congrats, Colin, for being in first right now.
Yes, Houston winning the whole thing.
Yeah, he does. And I believe Brady is in second place. I'm not sure who.
Ben Johnson's in third.
Ben Johnson is in third. So those are our top 3 leaders for this week currently. And then I just want to give a quick shout out to Jason Weaver for putting together an awesome website. The website will be up when this episode drops. You guys definitely need to go check that out. He put together a really good bio for each of us. There's some links for all of our platforms that we're on. You can find all of our social media accounts through that website. And then soon enough, we'll have a merchandise store available for you guys to buy some T-shirts and things like that.
PJs?
I think we're all excited for that, and how much stuff is going to be added on that store is going to be determined by how successful the first couple items are. So I believe our first item is going to be T-shirts. So definitely,
check them out. Yeah,
encourage you guys to go on the website, and once those T-shirts are available to purchase, definitely go get yourself one because they are really cool from what Jason has showed us. So that wraps up this week's episode, and thank you guys for